Hey guys, I am just out of the shower, so my hair's kind of wet, and I'm hiding under my dining room table just because I'm chilling down here with the subject of my video today. I want to talk to you about why I'm so happy that I have an emergency fund, because this little girl right here had an emergency yesterday. I took her to the vet for a checkup because she had something really weird on her paw, and it ended up just being a corn on her paw, but they cut it off. It wasn't dire or anything, but when I called them about it, they said, oh, you should still bring her in because it could be as simple as a corn, but it could also be a cancerous growth. It was fine, but when they were examining her and putting her on the examining table, they noticed that there was a bunch of blood on her hindquarters, and it turned out that she had an abscess. Now, this is Artemis. She is 6 years old. I adopted her in November. She was an outdoor cat. When I had rescued her from the shelter, they think she had been outside for a very, very long time because she was part feral, so that means that she didn't trust humans. She was very skittish. And I adopted her because I knew Dubuque was a kill shelter, and being that she was 6 years old and not the friendliest of cats, and she was very underweight and she was sick, I adopted her because I knew Dubuque would have put her down. Anyway, so that's how I got her. And in January, she had another abscess in the same area. And initially, they had thought that my other cat, Khaleesi, had bit her because when one cat bites another cat, they have this bacteria in their mouths, and that can cause infections and abscesses. So initially in January, they thought that Khaleesi had bit her, and that's what had caused such a large abscess on Artemis right here. And it was right here on, I know, sweetie, it was on the back of her hindquarters. The one in January was huge. There was many holes, and they were large and gaping, and she had to have them stitched up. Oh, are you going to go for a walk now? Okay. Anyway, so they had stitched her up, and she had to be in a cone for like 4 months, and it was terrible. Well, when I took her to the vet yesterday and they found that, I knew it was going to be a costly expense. And so, but I didn't even have to think about it, you guys. I had the money in my savings account, and yes, I'm still on baby step 1. I'm trying to get my minimum baby step 1 saved for. I still had that $200 in my savings account that I knew it was going to at least cost me, and I didn't even have to think about it. I was just like, guys, just save my cat, make her healthy again. And guys, that's what the emergency fund is there for. It's so you don't even have to think in an emergency. I'm going to come out of the table now, and yes, it's messy right now. So they didn't even waste any time. They put her under local anesthesia. They cleaned out the abscessed wound, so they flushed it, and they gave her antibiotics. They sent me home with some antibiotics and some painkillers for her, and now she's home, and she's in recovery. She is still in a lot of pain, and she's not eating right now, which I'm a little concerned about, but I'm sure it's just because the antibiotics and painkillers make her really nauseous. But that is why you need an emergency fund, you guys. So when an emergency pops up like this, you don't even have to worry about the money. You can just focus on what is going on at the moment. Now, I know some people would just be like, well, it's just a cat. But not to me, because she is my fur child. Like, I have 2 sweet little kitties that I love to pieces, and I don't have children. They're like my children. They're my little fur children. And while Dave Ramsey doesn't really suggest pets, I suppose, for me, they're family, and they're also essential to my mental and emotional health. I initially got Khaleesi, who is over here lounging on her cat tree. I got her as an emotional support animal to help with depression and anxiety, because I do have both of those. And I could even do a whole vlog about that whole experience if you want, just depression and anxiety. But, if, say, you have a family member going to the hospital and you need to pay the medical bill, that's what the emergency fund is for. Or if you blow a tire, or something breaks in your house. That's what it's there for. Don't be afraid to use it if you absolutely have to. Something I'm considering now, though, is creating a sinking fund for their vet visits, because Khaleesi has a medication that she needs to take every day, and that's about $46 a month. And now Artemis had this happen, and something that the vet and I were talking about was this might be a reoccurring problem. He said that there is something wrong with, this is going to sound really disgusting, the anal glands near her bottom, near her butthole. And so he noticed that while this particular one had an abscess and ruptured, the other one on the other side of her hindquarters was also really full, and it was hard, like he could tell that there was something wrong with that other one too, so he drained that too. And he thinks that this might be food allergy related. We're not quite sure. She does have a food allergy. We're still trying to kind of pinpoint what she's allergic to. Right now I feed them, both of the cats, a limited ingredient pet food, and it stopped them from throwing up. Artemis was getting lots of ear infections, and she had a very dull coat. She had very flaky skin. And so we kind of determined that that was a food allergy. And he's starting to think that maybe these abscesses in her anal glands are caused by the food allergy too. So this might be a reoccurring problem. And so I'm thinking maybe I need to start a sinking fund for their vet visits, especially if Artemis is going to have to go get her anal glands drained frequently. And I will tell you what the anal glands are supposed to do. Now, cats have them near where they defecate, so where the stool comes out, and when they release the stool, the anal glands release a liquid that is supposed to kind of mark their territory. So it kind of is to show like what cat lives there and whose territory it is and who's just kind of passing through. So if the cats were still outside, they would know, hey, this is this particular cat's territory. And so what's really happening is the glands, the secretion is, he thinks it's too thick, or it's just so swollen at that area that it cannot come out, which is causing infection and the abscesses. So we might have to drain those periodically. So that could be pretty costly. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to start a sinking fund for them. And this is honestly something I should have done in hindsight when I first got them. When I first adopted these cats, I had no idea that they would be going to the vet as much as they do. But at the same time, I feel like I'm okay treating their medical problems. It's much better than not letting them live, because the other option would be to put them down. And they live a comfortable life, so I'm fine with it. And certain people in their Total Money Makeover would disagree with me, but I'm happy to do it. If it were a real human, would anybody really even look the other way? So anyway, so that was my adventure yesterday. That's why I want to emphasize why you need an emergency fund. And I hope you guys like this impromptu video. Sorry that I'm like fresh out of the shower. Also I have 2 interviews tomorrow. Two for 2 teaching jobs. One is a 5th grade position and one is a 3rd grade position. They're in 2 different school districts. I'll be driving a lot tomorrow, but wish me luck. I really hope I get one of them. I don't know which one I want more. I love 5th grade, but the 3rd grade is in a town that my boyfriend and I have been talking about moving to, so that would be ideal. So I'm not quite sure I don't even know if I'm going to get offered the positions, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to own it. I'm going to go in with my best foot forward and as confident as I can be and show off what I've learned in school, and hopefully I get offered a position or 2, then I can kind of like decide where I want to go from there. So wish me luck. If you have any stories about your pets that you want to share, or any reasons you need your emergency fund, what you've had to use it for, leave it in a comment below, and I will be posting another video very soon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye guys.